Dr. Sharad Kohli, who we can say is a great leader with different titles as entrepreneur, economist, tax guru, business advisor, motivational speaker, and an expert of almost every subject. He is a leader with distinguished and rich academic background, a dual chartered accountant from India and United Kingdom, also a management graduate and a lawyer. Besides being an alumni of Harvard University, also being conferred an honorary doctorate in economics. If we talk about his achievements, he is the founder and chairman of KCC Group, which deals in more than 15 diversified verticals. He has represented India on various international forums as a speaker and expert. He is being felicitated and won over 100 awards and honor within country and internationally. Let's begin the talk show with Dr. Sharad Kohli.
Welcome to NBTV, Dr. Sharad Kohli. How are you doing today, sir?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so sir, before we start anything about Indian economy, or I'll ask you some questions about the current scenario, first I would like to know your experience as an economist, like how did you start and how has been your experience about the same?
Well, it's been quite exciting and interesting, having done about 1,200 plus shows across more than 70, practically all the English and Hindi channels over the last 4+ years. So it's been a very exciting journey, and I think analyzing the economy from the days of demonetization to GST to, the economy has come a long way. Gone through difficult and good times, and currently going through one of the worst times, I would say, in the history, in the living memory of people. Unless you are 100-year-old, you would not have seen something like that. So it's been a very exciting journey, and I think to be analyzing economy at a national level, at an international level, it's a matter of privilege and pride that you're given a chance to speak to millions and millions of people through television. I've been writing in the newspapers also. I've been writing for Hindustan Times, Times of India on startups and other related issues. So yeah, it's been quite an exciting journey.
Okay, sir. So just as you have told about your journey and you also talked about Indian economy, a little about the same. So my question to you is that as we are facing this corona pandemic, so what do you think that in the long run, how it is going to impact the nation or the world at large?
I think I'll talk about the world first. The world is going through a paradigm shift, in terms of polarization of economic powers and economic superpowers, the so-called economic superpowers, because we saw that China and US were the two prime biggest economic superpowers. For the sake of your channel's viewers, I can tell some very interesting data that about the world economy is of the size of about 85 to 90 trillion dollars. $1 trillion is $1,000 billion, and $1 billion is about 7,500 crore rupees if you take the dollar value as of today. So what you, me, and the rest of the world earn is about 85 to 90 trillion dollars, and I think this data will be very useful for the for your channel's viewers, because out of the 90 trillion dollars,
absolutely,
about 22 trillion dollars came from America, and about 15 trillion dollars came from China. So that speaks, that's why I said the economic superpowers, that these were the economic superpowers. And Indian contribution to the world GDP is $2.9 trillion, which is, if I take in percentage terms, we are probably 3.5% of the world GDP, whereas China is about, I would say, probably 20% of the world GDP, and America is about probably 25% of the world GDP. So I think it has hit both those world superpowers badly. America, we all know, is going through one of the most difficult times, and with 130,000 people already dead, 3 million plus people already affected by this virus. They were forced to open the lockdown because the economic concern. Americans are very, very possessive about Jahan. Like here it was Jaan hai to Jahan hai. There it was Jahan hai to Jahan hai.
They're
Somehow
more
they didn't
concerned for
think
the
about,
same. Yeah,
yeah, they didn't think about lives. If they think about life, they would not have lost 130,000 people and still counting. So I
absolutely.
think the Trump administration was very, very possessive about the economic superpower aspect of America, which is why it
Mhm.
decided to open up. And so did the rest of the world also. Even India is in an unlocking phase. But I think it was increasingly realized that probably locking down forever is not the solution to this problem, because because the economy has to go on. Otherwise, you will be pushed to a position where people may not die of corona, but people will start dying of hunger, of unemployment, of depression, of
Starvation,
whatever.
correct.
So I think the economies realize that, and as far as the Indian economy is concerned, and this happened to the rest of the world, and as far as the Indian economy is concerned, I can just go on and on about the world economy, because I analyze world economies very closely, be it France, Germany, Italy, Spain, Belgium, United Kingdom, whatever be the country. I mean, we do have a very close analysis. So I think I will not rather like to bore your audience with the world economy, because after all, I think it's the Indian economy which matters the most. Yes, Indian economy too suffered. I mean, how could Indian economy have remained immune to this whole problem? And we are facing probably the first recession in many, many years for this year, for the year 2021. The economy may take a dip, which means economy will contract instead of growing. It will shrink. The 2.9 trillion may probably shrink to be 2.8 trillion or 2.7 trillion. You never know. I mean, even RBI was skeptic of making a forecast of how much it will shrink. But having said that, having painted the pessimistic or the negative picture, or I won't call it negative, because that was the truth. I think more light needs to be thrown about the positive aspect, the opportunities which this pandemic has thrown before the economy. I think as an economist, my prediction is, Sanoj, that
Yes, sir.
Indian economy will be the next economic superpower, for the simple reason that China will find it very hard. You cannot have too many superpowers, by the way, as a matter of principle,
Absolutely.
and I think everybody should know. If there are too many superpowers, then there is no meaning of superpower. Superpower is only when there are a few superpowers, one, two, three, max. That's it. No more superpowers. So I think with China will struggle to remain as a superpower, because the angst against the China around the world, be it Europe, be it the Americas, be it Australia, be it some of the other countries, I think we primarily take about 70 to 80% of the world economy is upset with China. But having said that, it is upset with China. On the other side, it is dependent on China. So it's in a catch-22 situation. It wants to banish China out of its lives, like India. Bahishkar, Indi Chini, bye bye. I mean,
Yeah.
that sentiment is going around the world. But the fact of the matter is that China was so deeply imbibed in each economy. The supply chains and the B2B and the B2C chains of these countries were so deeply imbibed that they cannot just throw China out of the window overnight. Even though China
Okay,
has
sir.
exported, yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Please continue. Continue.
Even though China has exported this deadly virus to around the world, and the world is upset. I mean, what if I export a virus to you, Sanur? I mean, I'll be the
Yeah.
most hated person in your life, because I put you into so much. I made you lose your livelihood.
Certainly.
मैंने आपका business खत्म कर दिया. I made you lose on your health. जान का खतरा बन गया. So why would you like me? I mean, it's very simple. It's not that China has done something which they have personally gone and hit everyone, but they have exported this virus everywhere. The virus originated in Wuhan, and I think it engulfed the whole world. So obviously the world is not very happy with China. So here is an opportunity before India, which has got similar demographic dividends. I think India has the potential of being the next economic superpower. My prediction is that starting from next year, ये साल छोड़ देते हैं. Starting from next year, I think you will
From
see India
2021
emerging
onwards.
as a powerhouse, because all those companies, all those countries who were for the last 30, 40 years having China as their base have already started looking at alternates. Halaki, there are a lot of competition with India faces. India faces competition. If you want me to list out the names of the countries, that what those countries and companies are looking at, there is Vietnam, there is Bangladesh, there is Cambodia, there is Malaysia, there is Indonesia, there is Mexico. There are a lot of third world countries which these countries and these companies are looking at. But I still feel India has an edge because the demographic dividends with 65% of the population below 35 years of age, so much
That
of
is what, sir, I wanted to talk about, that Indian young population, we have got largest young population in the world. And now the work culture has changed due to Corona. We are going online from offline. So how do you see this transition and this shift? And do you think so that are we really capable, and we do have that kind of infrastructure that we can bring a change and we can be a superpower or leader of 21st century?
No, we are. I mean, to answer your question, I'll put the last sentence of my answer first. That it will take time, but we will get there. More importantly, it will take time. As of now, this Atmanirbhar Bharat, as we do this show today, Prime Minister today spoke. He made his first global pitch in United Kingdom just a couple of hours ago. And he tried to tell them that India is now laying the red carpet before. But while we lay the red carpet for those investors, for those companies, for those countries, we also have to focus on what you said, that we have to prepare ourselves. The infrastructure, this desh mein 80 crore log gareeb ho. I think a lot of people came to know that out of 130 crore people, 80 crore are poor. I think this, and how did people come to know? Because ye jo Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, where food is being distributed, ration is being given every month, it has been given to 80 crore people. Those 80 crore people include women and children also, which is about, I would say, 15 to 20 crore families. So out of the 25 crore families, if 15 to 20 crore families are poor ka definition hai that they don't earn more than 10-15,000 rupees mahina. 10,000-15,000 rupees a month, which is like less than $200 a month they earn. So obviously we are looking at two things. We are looking at upliftment of these 80 crore people first. We will have to bring these 80 crore people above so that they are able to match the rest of the 50 crore people. But you can imagine the potential with only 50 crore people. We have the potential of becoming an economic superpower with the support of these 80 crore people, because these 80 crore people cannot be ignored. Because when the migration happened during Corona, we found that the factories, the businesses had come to a standstill because these people have now gone back to the villages. Today, the factories do not find ways and means to start because there is no labor available. So with the support of these 80 crore people, the rest of the 50 crore people, along with these 80 crore people, will take the country to that level, because the country is so vast. इतनी जनसंख्या है यहाँ पर, इतनी तरीके की जनसंख्या है. If I say it in Hindi, इतने भिन्न प्रकार के प्राणी हैं यहाँ पर. That is what makes this country great, and I think that is what will take this country to the dream of becoming a superpower. And now, as an economist, I can very safely and say it with conviction that now it is no more a dream. This Corona has speeded up that process. I mean, notwithstanding all the infections, और अभी भी देश में 7.5 लाख से ज्यादा केसेस हो चुके हैं, 8 लाख के करीब हम पहुंच रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
20,000 से ऊपर लोग मर चुके हैं. अगर हम उस एस्पेक्ट को एक तरफ रख दें, if we keep that aside, notwithstanding the deaths and infection, I must tell you that this country will emerge sooner than later in the very, very near future, which is my prediction is starting from next year. The beginning will be made. But I think for that, the government needs to make some very quick reforms. And more importantly, I was just on a television show just before your show. More importantly, those reforms, those schemes, those rules, those guidelines, those laws, those principles, whatever is being taken out must be implemented to the ground. Agar uska implementation, wo jo babu baitha hai file leke aapki, if that babu does not sail with the same spirit as PM Modi and his team, then his efforts will be wasted. So therefore what the country needs to do is, what the administration needs to do is, that the excitement and the spirit which the top level of the government is showing should be shown right to the bottom. Unless that
So
is done.
do you want to say with this that we should make a shift towards Gandhian philosophy, where we used to talk about self-sufficient villages, like our Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, local vocal and vocal local. So what's your take on the same? That can we just follow this particular thing so that migration can be stopped and our villages will be self-sufficient and we can make some sort of clusters the way China has done in their cities and their states. They have made certain manufacturing units and factories where they're making huge difference, and that's also adding value to the economy of China.
Yes, absolutely. I think as I said, the country has to grow comprehensively. You cannot only let Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and a few other cities grow. It is a big country unless the development reaches the villages. See, the paradox? The paradox is that 70% of the population is directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture, and the contribution of that sector is only 15 to 16%. तो 70% लोग आपकी 15% contribution कर रहे हैं. Till the time this paradox is not resolved, the country will find hard to grow. Yes, as you rightly said, the development has to reach villages. The way China did, I've been to China many times, to Shanghai, Beijing, and Guangzhou, Guangdong, lot of places. The way they did it is in 1980, India and China were at the same level. उन्होंने क्या किया? Government started. They are a communist system of government. They are not a federal system. They are not a democracy. So government ensured that at each level, funds were provided. I mean, I have an example in front of me. I can't quote the name, but I can tell you. Somebody came to the government that he wanted to set up, a circuit factory, a small integrated circuit, IC, which is called. He wanted to set up a factory. He went to the government, and I am a witness to what happened. He had no money, very little education, but he knew how to make integrated circuits. The government 5 minutes उन्होंने interview लिया. आपको integrated circuit बनाना आता है? उन्होंने अपने scientific advisor को बुलाया, उसने test किया, इसको आता है. You will not believe, he was immediately given $50,000, a land. He was provided skilled labor. He was given tax registration. By the time, in half an hour, he stepped out of that room where he had gone to make the request. Can you believe? He straight away drove to his factory, the land, and from the very next day, government sent all the infrastructure paraphernalia to set up his shed. In 7 days, his factory was ready. So in 7 days, a man who went to the government saying that, listen, I want to set up an integrated circuit factory. The 7th day, the same day of the week, next week, his factory was ready and producing goods. So I think that is what propelled China. So see, we don't need to copy them. हमको उनको copy नहीं करना है. हमको replicate करना है. We need to pick up all the good things they did. That a man with zero money in his pocket, zero money, no yuan in his pocket, in 7 days had a factory. And that's not the end of the story, Sanoj. In 1 year, he made profit of $700,000. And you know what he did? He repaid the government, because government ने करीब $500,000 के करीब total invest किया था, land दिया, shed बनाया, जो कुछ किया. He immediately repaid $500,000. And the end of the story is that today, that man, because I cannot name, because I don't do any free advertisements for any company, especially Chinese. I'm definitely not.
Yes.
Today, his turnover is $120 million. He employs 25,000 people. He's got factories in 5 provinces of China. ये मेरा आंखों देखा किस्सा है. ये बात मैं कर रहा हूँ आज से सिर्फ और सिर्फ 8 साल पहले की. So this is just an example. So what? So this is what. So can we do this? I mean, हमारे पास यहाँ पर जब कोई जाता है बैंक में कि साहब लोन दे दो, क्या करता है भाई? पैसा है, मकान है, वो तो दिया हुआ है, नहीं मिलेगा, जाओ यहाँ से. कितना पढ़े हुए हो साहब? 10वीं पास, भागो यहाँ से. So the whole attitude and the approach. So my take is that the spirit with which Narendra Modi government is moving ahead and his council of ministers, that spirit, Sanoj, has to flow down to the bottom block officer level. Until and unless that is done, we will not be reaching, the goal that Prime Minister dreams of.
Yes, sir. We generally talk about doing of ease business, doing of ease business we talk about. But I think this is one of the great example that you have shared with us, that if we start taking care of people who can bring the change in the society, like we have got a globalized economy. But when we look at, as you discussed already, that when we talk about the manufacturing stuff and service industry and agriculture, then we see in terms of manufacturing we are really lagging behind, while we are banked on talking about our service industry, because everybody wants a job, right? Government is preparing for MSME. Government is saying that okay, we are ready to give you loans, but the thing is that until or unless bank cooperates or the machinery cooperates with the person, they do not get it. So my last question to you is that we are number one in software industry, but when it's about Chinese applications and their mobile phones and other sort of infrastructure, then we are nowhere. So how do you think that we can bring a change in Indian economy by doing something in manufacturing, and how MSME, Startup India, Stand Up India can really be beneficial for us, and your message for the government to make the changes?
I think I'll answer the last part of your question first, that the message to the government, I think what the government needs to do is, I think it needs many, many Narendra Modis. Because as simple as that, because the spirit which is shown at the top, the government will have to ensure that someone has to go and deliver this at the bottom also. Because take for example anything, any yojana which they have launched. So any scheme which government launches, must someone in the government at the top level must ensure that this scheme reaches the bottom. And the moment this starts happening, you will see tons and tons of investments coming into this country. Or necessity is the mother of invention. जैसे ही यहाँ investment आना शुरू होगा, the moment you have investments flowing into this country, you will find that the entrepreneurs of this country will start moving, because finance is the biggest problem. There's a lot of talent in this country, but they struggle to get the finance. If they get the finance, there are 1 million government clearances and 1 million babus sitting to ask rishwat from you, the corruption. I think government will have to ensure that all these bottlenecks are, the moment these bottlenecks are removed, I think the country has got no stopping to do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for sparing your precious time with us, and it's really our pleasure that a prominent economist like you, came on this small platform without even asking that what is our viewers base and how many people are connected with us. It's so nice of you. Thanks for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Hope to
Thank you.
see you again after Corona. We'll meet and we'll interview one more time. Thank you.
Thank you.